Every horror fan has their favorites, and today I'm going to be walking through mine, but with a twist. I'm going to be picking my favorite horror movie from each decade. We're going to be starting from the 1960s all the way until now. These aren't just the best horror movies, these are some of my personal favorites. So some of these you might think, why is that even in this list? Some of these are just special, okay? These are the movies that I just rewatch, obsess over, think about. They've impacted or shaped my love for scary movies in some way or another. The 60s gave us some iconic horror, but nothing really has messed me up from that time like Rosemary's Baby has. The slow burn dread, the isolation, the way that everybody becomes a threat to Rosemary, and just the psychological horror that is this movie is unforgettable. And the ending of this movie, right, there's no crazy violence or gore. It's just pure evil and terror at its finest, and it really will stick with you. This to me was the easiest choice of all. Halloween from 1978 is my favorite movie of all time, probably. This is the movie that ultimately shaped my love for horror, and I would say it was the first classic horror film that I watched. I was in like 3rd or 4th grade on Halloween. Instead of going out, I stayed home and my parents showed this to me, and that was the beginning. John Carpenter took the most simple premise and turned it into something that is terrifying. The amount of time that it took them to make this movie, I want to say it was like a month. The pacing, the music that Carpenter also did, which is just amazing. I really want to see him in concert. I know he's been touring lately, and I think that would be so fun. But just the mystery of him is what makes this so scary. For the 1980s, I had to go with A Nightmare on Elm Street. The 80s were stacked with wild, fun horror movies, and this was a little bit of a tricky decision to make, but Freddy is the ultimate boogeyman slash horror villain, whatever you want to call him. He's not just scary, but he's creative, and a lot of that has to do with Wes Craven and other people who contributed to this incredible movie and franchise as a whole. I feel like as it went on, it got more and more creative with the kills, with the sets, with the ideas, some of it for better, some of it for worse. The way that Wes Craven and then other directors that followed played with dream logic really opened up so many interesting and terrifying ways for Freddy to shock and disturb us on the screen. It's inventive, it's gory, it's weird, and it's something that you just don't forget about. Okay, this one might be a little bit nostalgia heavy, but the It miniseries from 1990 was the first horror movie that truly disturbed me. I have so many memories of just going to my local video store and renting this movie over and over again, slowly trying to build up enough tolerance to watch one scene after another. But that opening scene with the curtains and the little girl and the bike, ugh. This movie is definitely clunky in some spots, and it's a far from perfect movie. It's cheesy, but that is what I adore about it. I've watched this movie probably 100 times, whether that's by myself, with my brothers, and I can't help but laugh and smile at some of the flaws that this movie has, but I mean that in a good way. This for me was childhood horror at its finest. The Descent. This movie is terrifying. It does not give up and it does not let you breathe. You can't catch a break. The claustrophobia, the isolation, the complicated relationships between characters, and honestly just the creatures that they designed for these movies, it's perfect. It's got some of that 2000s cheese factor to it, which honestly for me, I'm a fan of that. It makes it more lovable. I feel like there's a phobia for this, like going into caves and being in those tight spaces. I don't know what that is, but that is terrifying. Everything that could have gone wrong in this story goes wrong, and it is intense. So if you want to show a movie to your friends that you will all enjoy and have a physical experience watching, you have to watch The Descent. My favorite horror film from the 2010s has got to be The Witch. It's not just scary, but it's deeply unsettling, especially if you grew up with maybe some more strict religious beliefs. The way that Robert Eggers is able to capture that strict religious or Puritan mindset the isolation and the fear of sin, it's something that I was actually able to really connect deeply with. This movie isn't about simple jump scares and a lot of the tropes that many horror films fall into. This is a movie about faith and control and isolation and how it slowly crushes a family over time. Eggers to me is gonna go down as one of the greats, one of the greatest horror directors of all time. I think he's already made that mark for himself in our generation today, and I can't wait to see what else he does. I know it's very early in the decade, but Ty West's trilogy of X, Pearl, and Maxxxine are perfect to me. Each film is so distinct from each other, but they all feel so well connected. We've got a gritty 70s slasher that's very similar to Texas Chainsaw and a lot of those other fun classic movies. A wild origin story that's so disturbing but also beautiful in this Technicolor, beautiful picturesque imagery. And then you have this neon-drenched 80s thriller, similar to something that Brian De Palma would do. Huge fan of Ty West, and this trilogy is a classic in my book and something that I find myself wanting to return to over and over again. So those are my favorites, from, you know, demonic pregnancies to your classic slasher staples. I would love to hear yours. Drop your picks in the comments. I would love to talk horror and hear what you guys like. More to come, I hope. I love doing this. It's just a matter of sitting down, pushing record, and getting this going. Thanks for watching. Love you.